Hello, welcome to Monday Morning Matters live broadcast show brought to you by Magnicraft Consulting Team, anchored by Niyi, a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting in the U.S. Here, each Monday of every week, we address important, relevant, and actionable topics of interest that will help you and your church grow healthier. And now, meet your host, Niyi.
Welcome. Good morning to you. Thank you for hooking up with us. We are starting part 4 of Church Growth Without Gimmicks. Church Growth Without Gimmicks. It delights my heart to come your way this morning on Monday Morning Matters. Okay, Monday Morning Matters comes every Monday to give you some actionable tips and to help you as pastors, church leaders, to move your church from where it is to where it should be in God. Welcome again to everyone on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel. We would love you to be around, to enjoy the content we have to offer. And so we are appreciating that you are hooking up with us. Thank you so much. We are glad that you are part of this broadcast show. And then, my name is Niyi Dunmade. I'm the founder and the CEO of Magnicraft Consulting. I'm a certified church consultant with the Society for Church Consulting and Church Consultation University. And so I'm your host to the weekly Facebook Live broadcast show every Monday, 7 a.m. Nigerian time. I'm also known as the Church Health Guardian of the 21st century. A big thank you to all those who have been sharing our content, who has been commenting, who has been telling us how timely our content is to them. I want to just appreciate you and say a big thank you to your kind gesture of sharing. And if you want to do us a favor, kindly do us that favor. Do us a share to your community. Give us a like. Give us a comment. Let us know where you are calling, you are tuning in from, on the face of the earth, and we'll be able to respond to you quickly in no time. So we're going to go on Church Growth Without Gimmicks. Church Growth Without Gimmicks. Before we go into the juice of today, I want to give you an announcement on what Dr. Tom Rainer is doing for Africans, especially Nigerians. I know it costs a lot to become trained and certified as a church consultant, but he has given us a massive discount, which I feel by now all my Nigerian pastors, all my the people who you have experience and you can help other churches. We need more churches, we need more pastors, we need more training, and so we need to make sure that we have church consultants who are helping churches revitalize and get back to what they should be doing as a church. So please make sure that you hook up with me on any of the social media handles, and I will sure give you all the details on how you can get as more than 40% discount on the training and the certification program to become a certified church consultant. I can tell you that you as a pastor, you're leading a church. If you have this knowledge, you're going to make sure that your church is actually very healthy in God. Okay, let's go back to church growth without gimmicks. We've started part 1 to 3 and today is part 4. If you have missed part 1, part 2 and 3, please go to our Facebook page, Magnicraft Consulting, or go to our YouTube channel, Magnicraft Consulting. It's on the footnotes to this live broadcast show. Make sure you go watch it up. There are quite a lot of good things for you to get up. There's still more, but this is just a tip of some of the things we do. I've been doing trainings for church leaders in my church, and it's been very, very massive. Please, your church cannot grow beyond the capacity of your leadership. Your church cannot grow beyond beyond the capacity of your leadership. So if you want your church to grow, the leaders must grow. Okay, you can't be doing planting, and you cannot be doing planting and watering well and you expect God to bring an increase. So planting and watering must be done well for God to step in and bring about an increase. You see, one of the things I want to discourage pastors from doing is that you are not doing planting well, you are not doing watering well, and you are seeing increase, which is not God bringing about the increase. Because sometimes when you have numerical increase, we say it is increase, but we know that God bringing about increase is beyond numbers. So it is, if this is not God bringing increase, then you are using gimmicks, you are using all kinds of things except God to grow your church. Never you struggle with the health issue of your church. When it comes to the health issues of your church, don't compromise. Make sure that you deal with the health of your church, because once you deal with those areas that are like impediments to your growth, then your church can begin to grow. You have to do the work that brings about increase. You have to do the work that brings about church growth. Okay, you have to make sure that all these 12 things, 12 systems are actually functioning in your church. And can I say quickly, I made that post in my Facebook page, and a lot of people have been liking it. Leading a church isn't leading perfect people, but messy people whom God will surely transform. So when you are leading a church, ensure that you know that there's a saint inside the church. There are messy people in the church that eventually God will transform. So when you are leading a church, don't lead a church because you think that a church must be filled with perfect people. But the thing is, churches are filled with messy people. So there's a three-dimension to side of a church, and that is the spiritual side, the soul side, and the body side. And all these three dimensions have to be healthy. Okay, there's a spiritual side, there's a soul side, and there's a body side. Time will not permit me to tell you all the details that you need to know, but you need these three. You need to focus on these three for your church to grow well. Okay, if you are sound spiritually and you are not sound in your soul and in your body, there's something wrong with your entire being. Okay, you need to be sound in your spiritual side of your church. You need to be sound in your organizational side of the church. You also need to be sound in the physical side of the church. That has to do with the facility and whatever other things that we see in the church. God's mandate to the church is a verb. It's an action word. A verb is an action word. Okay, that means that it's not something that you should see and begin to be happy about, but it's something you see and do something about it. And that's go and make mature disciples. And not doing that is simply disobedience to God's instructions. It's simple disobedience to God's mandate. Okay, grow. I also made that post on my Facebook page that growth and change is a painful challenge, okay? Even human wise, in our body, when you are trying to grow a strand of hair, if you are very sensitive, it comes with pain. If you are trying to grow a tooth, it comes with, if you are trying to grow a bone or whatever it is, it comes with some form of discomfort, because growth and change has its painful challenge for any church. But nothing is as painful as a church staying stuck where she should not be. You see, when you want to be a baby forever, there's something wrong with it. When you want to be a child forever, there's something wrong with it. You need to find ways at which you can embrace that painful challenge to see how the church is growing. And that starts from having a control on your mindset, having a massive control of your mindset. Because if you have a low mindset that does not enhance its growth, a subtraction mindset, a scarcity mindset, there's no how that belief system will not affect the way your church is growing. A church cannot outpace the inherent qualities and characters of its leadership. If your church wants to grow, you have to make sure that you work on the quality and the character of the leadership that leads that church. And once that capacity is increased, then you have the golden opportunity to begin to outpace and to grow well as a church, because growing churches are led by growing leaders. If your leadership is not growing, then I can tell you straight up as a consultant that your church cannot grow. Your leaders must be finding ways to grow spiritually, grow emotionally, grow physically, grow financially, grow in other ways, because growing churches are led by growing leaders. So when you are leading a church, one of the things you need to know is making sure that your leaders are growing. Because once your leaders are growing, then your church will grow. Bishop Oyedepo used to have one concept which I love so much. You know, he had this mindset of inviting guests to his church, and then there was a Shiloh program that, because of some hiccups in the flight by flight or something, they could not show up for the program. And then he began to look at his leaders. He looked at his bishops, and I can tell you that because those leaders were able to increase and grow their capacity, the church began to grow automatically. So growing churches are led by growing leaders. If you are not growing, then you are putting a lead on your church. If you are not growing, then your church will not be growing, because you have to be intentional about growth as a leader, okay? Growing in the knowledge and in your understanding of God's word, and growing in your walk with Christ. These all things are very essential for your church to grow, okay? For your church to grow. And if your church is not growing, you need to begin to question your leadership. How can we put up the lead of the growth patterns in our leadership, okay? In our leadership. God wants his church to grow as much as he wants his people to grow as a church, okay? Churches must also make sure that they take up the lead of the church. The truth is, growth is a product of getting some things right, okay? Growth is not a product of one thing that you get right, or two things that you get right. There's a combination of factors that you must get right for growth to happen. And so sometimes some leaders usually have a wrong mix, which is what I'm talking about, gimmicks, to bring about growth. Growth is a product, or is a result of getting some things right. Growth is a product and a result of getting some things right, okay? Churches that get their evangelism right, get their discipleship right, get their prayer right, get a lot of all these things I'm showing you on the screen in terms of evangelism, in terms of discipleship, fellowship, structure, strategy, leadership, outreach, assimilation, resources. I mean, the way you spend your money can put a lead on your church. The way you spend your money can make you begin to mix some gimmicks into your churches, into your church growth momentum. And so we need to also take up the lead from the mindset of the congregation. the mindset of the congregation. What is their mindset? What is their philosophy? What's their belief system about growth? The thing is, once you have a healthy church, I can tell you your church is going to grow, because healthy church growth starts from the congregation being healthy in terms of their spiritual life. Okay, being faithful to God's mission is also very important. Okay, when you are faithful to God's mission, one of my pastors in the training made a fantastic point. The message, the mandate, and the mission should not change, but the methodology can change. And if you are not trying to be relevant in the schemes of things of what is going on in our world today, then you are not going to see the kind of growth that you want. Massive, you need to begin to sit down as a leader. What is the growth mix that we need to do or carry out for our church to grow? Because I said that growth is a result of getting some things right. Sit down. What are the things that we need to put in place in its right combination for us to be able to see growth in our churches? You know, what is the combination of factors, of things that we need to put in place for our church to begin to look at some of the frameworks, the church health framework? How much of your worship is healthy? How much of your fellowship is healthy? How much of your discipleship is healthy? How much of your evangelism is healthy? How much of your ministry is healthy? How much of your prayer is healthy? Top side has to do with spiritual things. The downside has to do with organizational side, strategy, structure, leaders, outreach, onboarding, and resources. You need to begin to, because when you are weak in one area, it makes for growth impediment in what your church can do. Okay, so the more you begin to arrive towards church health, the more effortlessly you begin to have church growth in your church. One of the things I'll say quickly is that we also diagnose churches to let them know their strength, to let them know their weaknesses. I would love to do this discouragement using business tools to help churches, because the goals for this business tool is profit. Okay, so make sure that they are making some good advert in terms of their product and services. But see, when you want to help your church, make sure you don't use business tactics, business tools, because that way you can begin to fall into manipulation and gimmicks. Let's see how you are going to do things the right way. Do things the right way. One of the things I say is, one of the slogans that we say in Magnicraft Consulting is doing church God's way. God founded the church. Okay, the church is actually God's idea. Okay, the church is actually God's idea, is never man's idea. And so let's don't begin to mix up gimmicks, mix up manipulation, mix up all kinds of human effort in terms of in order to secure God's growth. So the church is God's idea, is never man's idea, and that's why I love that slogan for Magnicraft Consulting, doing church God's way, because doing church God's way is the only way to get God's result. Doing church God's way is the only way to secure the increase that is going to be the part of God to do, because you have actually done the planting and the watering very well. I want to wrap it up within this time, because we're going to wrap it up next week, Monday, with part 5 of church growth without gimmicks. Please feel free to reach out to me on how you can become a church consultant. Let us talk. We need more church consultants. There are a lot of churches. We still need much more churches. I love pastors who can be church consultants, so that they can begin to use some of these tools to help their churches become healthier. Because for the 200 million people in Nigeria, for example, we need healthy churches. I know we have churches in Nigeria, but the more we have healthy churches, the more impact we can make in our church. The more healthy churches we have, the more impact we can make in the community. Thank you so much for following us up on this channel, on this Facebook page. Feel free to share this content with your community on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on YouTube channel. Please feel free to do that, and that will help this video to go viral. We also do consultations. We also do trainings. We also do strategic planning. We do revitalization. Reach out to us on this number on the screen. We can help your church in little ways, in massive ways, to move your church from where it is to where it should be in God. You have any church-related question, I've made some statements that you need some clarification, you need some resources, you need some template, you need some help, reach out to us. Any church-related question, we'll be able to give you good answers to your question and then possibly help you out from whatever it is that your church is stuck with. Okay? And then if this video has been helpful to you, please give it a like. Please give us a like. Make sure that you give us, you share us in your community. Drop a comment. I love to hear from you so that this video can be suggested for people in the social media space. Drop us a comment. Let me know where you're also listening to me from. Till I come your way next week, Monday, with the final part 5 of Church Growth Without Gimmicks. I say bye-bye. God bless you. And I love you.
Consultation? Wow, most definitely yes. Just as you should see your primary care physician once a year, you should have a church consultation once a year. Churches are organisms that change, age, they have health concerns, and in some cases, die. Church consultations help you stay strong and healthy. It helps you avoid the painful and unhealthy changes that occur over time. Church consultants know where to look, the question to ask, and will provide appropriate solutions for health issues. Magnicraft Consulting helps you lead from your strengths, assist you in identifying and improving your weaknesses, examine all ministry areas for strength, weaknesses, opportunities, including potential threats, provide you with honest feedback, diagnosis, analysis, and actionable solutions. If you want to know more, call us and we'll sit down with you and bring out our ministry stethoscope. Check out our services at our website www.magnicraftconsulting.com. Get the right and appropriate diagnosis, prescriptions, and services from a certified church consultant. Contact us now on 0802-324-2258. Email contact@magnicraftconsulting.com. magnicraftconsulting@gmail.com. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram @Magnicraft Limited. Magnicraft Consulting, doing church God's way.